Welcome back to episode Duscae. So now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to go to the dungeon of the game. Or the demo, rather. So basically, if you...
the Behemoth basically just steamrolled on our asses. So we need to get stronger, I guess.
Indeed. Well, that's actually a better way, a faster way for the sake of those who don't want to grind. Which I'm about to do. Basically, if you're, but even still, the dungeon that I'm about to do, I'll say it right now. Don't go into there unless you're fully prepared. Get yourself into a comfortable level, like around level 20, maybe.
Why? Why? I mean, what could they possibly have? Goblins or something?
Anyway, yeah. Basically,
Wait, they do?
Also, it's a very. Wait, what?
Oh my god, they're goblins? You serious?
Jova, don't try... Okay, whatever. Yes, there are goblins. Anyway, basically, I also like to say, don't try to go into that cave without the immune status, aka the ones you can get from meals when you camp, because it's a recipe for disaster, because those goblins will poison the hell out of you. And it's gonna be really hard for you to get through all those goblins if you don't either have that or a shitload of antidotes.
Hello, future potential masochist challenge.
Actually, that's the first thing I did before, because I was playing the first time I played the demo, I was playing it blindly because I didn't want to spoil myself. So I went into the cave not knowing what was there, So the first time I was going through the cave, it was really hard for me. Like I kept going back and forth, running away from the goblins and shit, so I could recover and shit. Basically, like for example, when I got to the final part of the cave, it was basically a point where I was always basically okay. Let's go back now so I can heal myself. And then basically, I was so unprepared that it took quite a while. But I managed, and I stuck through my teeth, and I managed to beat the cave even with all that poison. So it was pretty satisfying when I did it.
Hello, Dark Chocobo.
So yeah, there's also another thing. It's still perfectly possible. Don't get me wrong. It's like I just said, it's perfectly possible to do the cave even without the immune status. But it's definitely recommended, especially for people who are playing the demo for the first time.
So what's the virtue of Dark Chocobos in this demo?
This one is part of a side quest, which we already did in the last part, if I remember correctly. Oh.
So I'm guessing that basically the way it's going to work is like Chocobos can cover ground that the car can't, I guess.
Are you serious? I missed one and I only get an A rank.
Eh?
Wait, what?
I'm playing a
Glibs, if you will not mention that, we will be most grateful.
Wait, hold on. What are you playing?
Theatrum.
Dwibs, isn't there a better time and place, when you're not sort of on a commentating job?
Okay, Jova. First, don't define this as a job. It's an hobby. Second, Dweebs, you could do that. Just don't mention to us. Thank you. Jesus.
I know we're only grinding, but really.
Well, we're not actually grinding. I'm just fighting these monsters for fun. I'm already ready for the cave.
Fighting them for their lols.
Then again, I guess... okay, there are some times when we actually can mention the games we're playing. Pedro freaking relished it when I mentioned playing the crossover during watching Thursday.
So, but then why are you giving me shit then?
Well, but that's a special...
Well, that's because this is a fun game.
It's Thursday. Nobody gives a shit about Thursday. Anyway, now we're about to listen to Yoko Shimomura's rendition of the classic Chocobo theme.
Yay!
I'll give this one a listen.
Please be excited.
And a happy one. You speak Chocobo.
I will admit, I'm getting a very American Western and a bit of Southern vibes from this game so far.
With this music, I'm picturing an old man in a rocking chair. Is that right?
Oh, hi, John Tron.
Yeah, what the hell are you doing in this game?
I gather.
I mean, he transformed Jacques into a chocobo or something, and he started a production or...
Probably. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, the Chocobo Stable Master of this game is Jontron. Go figure.
New head cannon. 10 out of 10.
I swear to God, if it turns out that this guy ends up having a parrot or a tiny chocobo on his shoulder at times, yes,
It does look
confirmed.
like Jontron.
Alright, so basically, this guy just warned me about. I'd stay out of that cave if I were you. Well, you obviously don't know a Final Fantasy protagonist, do you?
Yeah.
Basically,
We're the
I'm gonna
masters
buy,
of danger.
Basically, I'm gonna sell some stuff so I can buy some potions and antidotes. Getting myself ready for the cave.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. Speaking of goblins and whatnot, Pedro, question. Which version of Final Fantasy IV do you think I should take? The PSP version or the DS version?
Depends. Like, are you just doing the original game, or are you gonna do the actual complete saga?
Well, I'm planning to do the complete saga, but I've noticed that apparently the DS version for like the first part has apparently 3D.
Yeah, the DS version actually has voice acting.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, Michael, do you think like go for the first?
The 3D version of the After Years is only, at least for now, only for iOS and Android. I'm pretty sure Square will port it on Steam someday, but it's not.
And it's
yet
on
confirmed.
PSP.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's the 2D version.
Oh, I know that. Oh, I know that, but I was wondering, should I go with the 2D version from the PSP for the first part at least, or should I just go with...
I should propose that you, Jova, go for the PSP to do the complete collection, and Pedro does the DS version of Final Fantasy IV.
Okay,
Because
that sounds
in
good.
a lot of ways, the two games have different aspects.
Actually, it would be a better idea like that. Like, for example, Jova does the complete saga on the PSP, and then we do a let's look at the DS version for the sake of noticing all the cutscenes and shit like that. It's not really needed for a new commentary, an entire playthrough, just for the sake of that.
Well, that depends, Pedro. I mean, we've got a playthrough of Sonic Genesis, and we're soon getting a playthrough of Sonic 1.
Well, but that's a special case. Genesis is so butchered to the point where it kind of becomes a different game, a whole different experience.
Yeah, it becomes Sonic 1 Moon Edition.
Well, from what Tio says, it sounds like it may be worth it. Oh, wait, hold on, I got a better idea. In that case, Tio, maybe you could handle the DS version of Final Fantasy IV.
I already have too many projects to look forward.
Yeah.
Can I be honest? I've never really been a fan of this particular genre of music we're listening to now.
You mean the what's the name?
Country.
Harmonica. What?
Yeah,
I can't remember the name of the instrument.
Harmonica, yeah.
Yeah, it's not the most annoying instrument in the world. Kazoo.
Well, it wasn't the kazoos actually created to be purposely annoying.
It does fit the place, though.
Yeah.
Yes,
We don't have
it
to
gives
hear
that
it. It's not
Western
like the
vibe.
entire soundtrack is that.
Is there gonna be a city that's very futuristic and thus it's got dance?
The starting one should remember
EDM.
modern Tokyo, according to Nomura.
Neo Tokyo.
No,
Hey!
modern Tokyo. Well, according to Nomura, the theme of the game is what's the name? Combining both current realistic setting and medieval ones. You start out in more modern and realistic setting, and the more you progress, the more the world shows medieval, classic Final Fantasy style cities and
Was he
elements.
talking about this game?
This game? Yeah, I remember Nomura saying that in an interview.
That's weird because I'm getting very American vibes from this game. In fact, this may actually be even more American than Final Fantasy VII and 13 combined.
I don't see. I don't see.
Well, 7 felt
Well, basically
American
the truck
only in a
stuff
few
seemed-
aspects.
Huh? What was that to you?
7 Final Fantasy 7 felt American only in a few aspects. Didn't really seem to me American inspired, more like its own amalgamation thing.
Well, what I'm saying is like Final Fantasy VII is one of the most American.
It might remind me more of an American setting, if I have to be honest.
Really, I thought Final Fantasy VIII was more of a European setting. Kind of a mix of...
No, Final Fantasy 9 is definitely more European inspired.
Never miss.
I guess Final Fantasy VIII gives me an idea of an amalgamation of America, England, Portugal, Italy, and Wales.
What?
What? You know what, Trill? We better just drop it. Anyway.
Drop the argument.
Okay, so let's go cave. Cave
down,
Let-
Joning.
Let's bring the cave down on these assholes.
Anyway,
Go to bed,
yeah.
joke jail.
He should have been there ages ago.
By the way, Shiro.
I'm already in here. I'm talking to you from it.
By the way,
Oh.
Shiro.
I'm also in distraction jail on orders from Jova.
By the way, Shiro. Ever since we did part 3 and right now, did you ever ask Alice about this game?
She hasn't seen the demo yet, but I'll be showing it to her this week.
Oh, awesome.
The thing is, Final Fantasy was the series that got her into gaming. And
Oh, yeah.
because of the way it's been dragged through the gutter, probably almost as much, if not more than Sonic has, she's a bit reluctant to see the demo despite what I'm telling her, but
I honestly can't blame her.
She is going to see it though.
No, I fully understand her. Trust me.
But she's going to be brutally honest, where I said I'm sure it'll be fine.
Oh no. Well, what does she like Kingdom Hearts?
She's never played it, actually.
Oh, okay.
She's missing
does she
out.
does she at least like action RPGs in general, or?
Yes, she does like RPGs.
Well, she likes action RPGs. You know,
Yeah.
real-time combat and shit. Well, then I think she will appreciate what this game is trying to do. I mean, if she, I'd say I'd say you should tell her right here from a message from at least me, who being a huge Final Fantasy fan who's been into it since I was a kid. It's definitely worth checking out because it.
You know one thing.
Be sure to tell her this message, like again from me, because from me, it actually has a lot of classic elements to it, despite the appearances.
Oh yeah, that's right. Speaking of classical elements,
So that's pretty much it. Go ahead.
You know one thing I've noticed. You know the music that plays when a monster spots you and you're about to go into combat.
Yeah.
To me, it kind of sounds a little bit like the traditional battle music Final Fantasy theme, a little bit.
That's the
Yes,
idea.
that's a reminder of that. The
Shimomura's
percussions at the beginning.
Yeah,
It's a recurring theme in the battle theme.
Yeah, Shimomura is trying to basically keep that tradition going.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. Shiroi, also, has your girlfriend played, say, any of Square's more classic games like Legend of Mana, Breakpoint to Musashi, the sequel?
I haven't asked, but I'm sure she has.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she has.
Basically tell her, like, well, she's feeling really nostalgic for that other stuff. There's a lot of stuff in the era of Squaresoft awaiting.
Will do. But she is willing to watch the demo. She just has her doubts for obvious reasons.
Honestly.
Yeah. I still can't believe it, though. Why would a company waste free games on a trilogy of a game that people hated from the start?
Because
Because they have a dumbass like Toriyama in charge
Well,
of
to be
that.
fair,
I mean,
to be fair, not everyone hated the 13 games.
no, but the thing is, but there's also the thing.
Well, Drips has a point. If there are people willing to defend Kingdom Hearts in its bad aspect to the core, there are people willing to defend also the 13.
T.O. I don't think Kingdom Hearts...
Jova, don't misunderstand me. I'm saying bad aspects of Kingdom Hearts, not on in its entirety.
But those are parts of the games that are bad. Final Fantasy 13 on a whole just doesn't feel right.
Because
And it got criticized.
I'm saying there are people who are not willing to accept and recognize
again,
that the
Joe,
game as
Joe, but that's my...
Well, it's more of a
I'm
mixed
saying
case
that.
on... Well, it's more of a mixed
but
case on
that's
Kingdom
my-
Hearts.
hold on. Let Whip speak. Go
That's
ahead.
my
Whip.
issue with some fan bases. Some fan bases don't seem to get they don't seem to get two things. One, not everyone will share the same opinion they have, and B, they have a bit of a problem of understanding that they're speaking for themselves. They're not speaking for everyone.
You'd hate the K-pop fandom. I know
Yeah.
this happens in every fandom, but you'd
That's
hate
just,
that one
that's-
especially.
Anyway,
Try
Dungeon.
not to get lost.
Yeah, but yeah, Dweebs, you have a point. Some fan bases are like that.
I mean, I still Final Fantasy 7 to me is still nostalgic and one of my favorite games of all time. But even I recognize when the game may have its flaws.
I think the
Yeah,
problem
that's-
with Final Fantasy VII is like,
That's
it's
the key of being a good fan of a product, willing to recognize its flaws but still accepting it in its good parts.
Yeah, see, I think there's
the
sort of...
game is total crap.
I agree. See, I think there's sort of a cycle with Final Fantasy VII. It's like, well, people tend to see it as the best Final Fantasy game, seeing as how it was kind of the game that got a lot of people into JRPGs in the first place. Not to mention the fact that, like,
for sure.
Not to mention the fact that with how lately some Final Fantasy games have... And, okay, I know this may sound opinionated, but bear with me on this. You gotta admit, I mean, like, while later Final Fantasy games have technically done more in certain departments, you have to admit, Final Fantasy VII was going all out, and, like, well, of course it went all out because...
It was testing a lot of new things, you can see that.
I think that's why a lot of people tend to see Final Fantasy VII as, you know, the big game, because it was the game that did something new and still keeps people interested. Whereas a lot of later Final Fantasy games, Final Fantasy 8 and 9 and 12 notwithstanding, kinda, well, you know, they kind of play it safe.
But just
well,
because
why I
at
have
least 9 had a good plot and good characters to back it up.
Tio, hence why I said Final Fantasy 9 notwithstanding.
Quiet now.
Actually, you said 12 notwithstanding.
I talked to
No. I said 8, 9, and 12 notwithstanding. And yes, I'm being technical with 8.
One thing I like to bring up for this particular commentary, one thing that we said off screen.
I knew it was an ambush.
Yeah, it was an ambush. They actually placed that item there to a bunch of ambushes. Anyway, I like to bring in because you know you said it off screen in another take of this that you like the sense of camaraderie between the four.
Yeah, they actually do come off as guys who've known each other for a long time.
Yeah, and we're actually gonna get, from what we can tell from the trailers and interviews, that that's pretty much going to be one of the main things of the story. So you can look forward to that then.
Oh, Pedro, are you telling me that we may get AI on the tier of Elizabeth from Bioshock Infinite? If so, hot diggity.
I can't say for that because I haven't played Bioshock Infinite. But anyway, yeah.
To be honest, the AI of Elizabeth is good just because she's invulnerable. Otherwise, it will be just like any other escort mission in any video game.
Well, I'm not just talking about that, but I'm also talking about how she's also very good for story moments and how she actually reacts to a lot of stuff. She actually feels like an actual companion.
Okay, I get what you're saying. Anyway.
Yeah.
So cave infested by goblins. How
it's interesting because that you say that because I'd like to bring up something that Lewis said in the Brain Scratch.com's E3 2014 impressions video. That Lewis is the big Final Fantasy fan of it. Well, Johnny is kind of also is, but not as much as Lewis. But even Lewis, in reaction talking about the 2013 E3 trailer of this game, he talked about how, and I remember his exact quote because I agreed with it so much that you know about that. Tay already knows, but I don't know if you remember. So I'll just say it for the sake of those who don't remember. In the 2013 trailer of this game, we actually get a flashback to Noctis' childhood, back when his father was still alive. You know, because we're actually yeah, but basically we're going to develop the relationship between Noctis and his father is also going to be a big thing apparently. But basically, you know, kind of like Hamlet. But basically, there's an entire there's a flashback scene about his childhood where they're basically visiting the neighboring kingdom that will later betray his father. What do you mean? What are you going to do? You're not going to eat your soup? And he's like, it's awful. But you mustn't say that, otherwise the cook will be sent away. And then he puts some of the soup in his tongue, and then he goes like, and then he makes Noctis laugh, and then he starts doing it too. So it's a really cute scene that I'm definitely hoping will be there'll be a lot of stuff like that for sake of character development and stuff. And Lewis reacted into that scene, said, and I'm quoting here, "Just in that one cutscene, Noctis had more character development than Squall had in Final Fantasy VIII."
I actually have to agree with that.
Yeah.
It never ends.
I take it 8.
Right never ends.
I take it 8.
What's the worst that could happen? Prompto.
I take it 8 is the least of the PS1 trilogy.
Technically only goblins,
Yeah,
because apparently the producer said, specifically said in an interview that dungeons in the final game will have more than goblins. I think it's more scarier than that. And I'm betting my iPhone on that.
Ghosts!
Yeah, it's one thing. You also were talking about this, Theo, something that there was an interview that said that the developers were trying to capture that sense of panic that you had whenever you go into a dungeon in the classic games.
Yep. Yes.
And I can definitely see that because the goblins as we're gonna see in a few moments one particularly scary moment involving the goblins, but you'll see.
Okay.
I could've sworn I just saw glowing
That
eyes.
makes sense on what the shopkeeper told us to not go into the dungeon. After all, we all know that John Tron doesn't
Oh,
like
trust me, this is actually one of those things where I actually
It's
agree
like-
with the fucking
It's
shopkeeper.
like when the
It's a typical. Give me a moment, Webs. Basically, it's a typical thing in JRPGs for shopkeepers to go. You shouldn't go there. It's dangerous and shit. But in here, I actually agree with the man because trust me, if you don't go in here prepared like I have, you will have a lot of problems. Anyway, go ahead, Webs.
they should have listened to Double Doors, out of bounds to anyone who doesn't wish to die a painful death. Jesus. Well, then again,
They're already waiting for us.
well, then again,
Clever.
then again, Dumbledore is kind of kooky, so
Yeah.
I'll be right back. My nature's calling.
Go ahead.
Lovely.
Like for example, Alice. Not Alice. Sorry, Shira. One thing that you consider Alice that might make her good is that again, message from me, big Final Fantasy fan from a long time.
Okay.
The goblins make their first appearance since Final Fantasy IX. Tell her that, and you might get a good response out of
And
her.
they also use the design of the original Yoshitaka Mano's artwork.
Basically, just say the goblins return for the first time since 9, and they're using the original designs, concept
Okay.
art.
Usually, yeah.
I'm
I have
sure
to
she'll
say,
appreciate
seeing
that.
Amano's actual artwork actually make it to the screen itself is a rarity in and of itself. Not that I'm
Yeah, that's a-
complaining, of
Well,
course.
not
That's
really. A lot of times it's still used. Don't worry.
Why,
director of
why may I
game-
go in a notable way?
It was also used. It was also used in even in Final Fantasy 13 in some aspects.
Yeah, no, obviously the entire world writing, not the writing. The writing was by Kazuki Nojima, the screenwriter from Final Fantasy VII. But the overall story and the characters and all that shit, that was done by Nomura, of course. But the director of this game, Hajime Tabata, he said in a recent interview that his favorite Final Fantasy games are actually 4 and 6. And I was like, wow.
Which is good.
Wow, a modern Final Fantasy director in the company who doesn't say his favorite is 7. All right, looks like we're in good hands.
Whoa! Wait, hold on,
Don't
Pedro.
get me wrong. I'm not
Pedro,
saying
are you
7 is
telling
bad.
me?
I love 7.
Wait,
I'm
Pedro,
just
are you telling
saying
me
the
that almost
problem
every? Are you telling me that almost
just
every
don't
single
want-
major one's
Hang on,
favorite one
Jova,
is 7?
Jova, let
Okay,
Pedro
one
go.
at a fucking time.
Okay, I actually had a question, Pedro.
What is it?
Are you telling me that the norm is that they say that their favorite is 7?
This is important. Okay.
Oh, hello.
Fuck you, Goblin.
I really love how scary the goblins are in this game.
Well,
made something
all this drop logic, Pedro. If Square took time to show things like the piercing that Lightning has on their navel spot, or whatever it's called, they took time to show how fucking scary the Goblin's face can be.
Anyway, Joe, what is your question?
So you're telling me that the modern norm of what almost every exec says is that their favorite game is 7?
Specifically Motomotoriyama. And Kitase. Like, just to give you an idea, Jova, the reason the compilation of Final Fantasy VII exists is because basically the developers of the series were approached to do a compilation on one specific Final Fantasy game to prove the series could, branch outside its normal shtick and shit. And Kitase immediately picked 7 because he thought that the story gave a lot of room for sequels, prequels, and shit.
It kind of did. The problem is that they did it in the wrong way.
Not just that, Pedro. Spoilers aside, because they don't say how the game ends, but the game ending of the original was left open for a reason,
Yeah. It's
to
like,
give some
well,
sense of mystery. The compilation outright butt raped this more than once.
it's like,
Yeah,
I don't get it. I don't get it. Maybe cool. Here was Square's chance to expand on Final Fantasy VII. A great story with so many mini games that you could have built upon and improved or taken away if need be.
Yeah, like we're
And yet
doing
for
right
some-
now with Final Fantasy VII G-Bike.
And yet, for some reason, they wasted the games on, a few prequels, a sequel that doesn't even really focus on the main cast that, everyone was sort of hoping for. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Dirge of Cerberus, but it could have focused on the whole main
It's
cast.
still a
as
better
opposed to-
sequel than Advent Children to me.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a completely different sequel, but yeah. Oh, yeah, that's another-
No, Advent Children is just Cloud going from place to place doing stuff and having some shots of his friends, maybe Tifa sometimes.
Again,
Yeah.
I sort of think Advent Children was kind of a waste of a potential sequel we could have had as a game.
That still doesn't excuse the fact that it's a lesser sequel than Dirge of Cerberus. Just because it had potential doesn't mean it makes it better of a game with potential expressed.
Who said it was better than Dirge of Cerberus? I just said Advent Children felt like a waste of a sequel that we could have had as a game.
Whatever.
Anyway, going back to what I was saying, the reason I was saying that it was great that we have that Tabata said that about shit is because you know, Jova, I'm just. Oh wait, I have to explain this. Okay,
Oh.
so basically, forgot this entire thing.
Xenoblade!
Well, actually, I wouldn't be surprised if this game also took a few steps from Xenoblade, which is a good thing
I
to do.
have power.
No, not yet, Teo. Not yet, Teo. Save it for later. Save it for later.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah. Basically, now that I have 2 swords rather than 1, I can use the armor ability. What's the armor ability? Basically, remember in the trailers where you see that thing where Noctis suddenly has a multiple light swords surrounding him? Well, that's the
Yes.
armor. That's the armor ability.
Urmagur.
Well, they never actually say it in game, so aside from text, so I don't know how you pronounce it. I just pronounce it Armiger because whatever.
Armiger. Oh, I thought it was a Deutsch name.
I don't know. I don't know. But
Whatever.
the point is, yeah. Basically now I can.
What are you doing?
By the way, have I mentioned how Prompto looks a lot like Cloud to me?
Yes, you have in part 1.
Again, to me it looks more like Zell.
He's basically, you know, like
Like, what,
yeah,
what the hell was that noise?
basically Noctis is the kind of spoiled prince character. Ignis is the intelligent British type. Gladius is the kind-hearted but kind of rough brute. Whereas Prompto is the younger, more energetic and lighthearted guy. You know, for the sake of bringing some lighthearted comedy
Oh,
to
fuck
the
you,
group.
game. You
What?
can't make an Indiana Jones reference out of nowhere and with no context.
Oh, come on, there is some context. Goblins, why do you
Well,
have to be
these are no
goblins?
snakes, these are goblins.
I know.
If you want to do a reference, do it, but remaining in context. That way we can understand the reference and still laugh because it makes sense.
Are you sure they're not
True.
referencing Final Fantasy X-2 or something?
Anyway,
Wait, but
notice
goblins
no,
weren't-
notice
oh.
that now. Notice that now. Well, not now because I got run out of MP, but it will be. I'll be doing it in a few moments after or so again. Okay, basically the point that I was trying to make is that Jova, it's a good idea. It's great that Tabata, you know, the big. I mean, I love 7, but I could do with actual more games that have more stuff inspired from other Final Fantasy. So I'm glad that Tabata is bringing more inspiration from more classic Final Fantasy games because we kind of can use a break from 7 inspired stuff.
You know what's sort of a shame is like, well,
Problem
you know what
is
could
we
have...
tried a time with Final Fantasy IV the after years. The problem is that its plot felt a lot like a fan fiction.
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry, we'll be able to get to that eventually when I record the complete collection.
Sure. I was just mentioning this as an example. Anyway.
Okay, fair enough. I will
Alright,
to say, though, I
alright.
guess I see where you're coming from. However, I guess, having not been as much a Final Fantasy fan, I guess, it's hard to tell. What exactly do you guys consider Final Fantasy VII inspired?
You know, stuff that
What do you mean?
like stuff like Final Fantasy 15, which rips it off like the fucking plague. Anyway, let me explain
Yeah.
this. I'm about to do the armor ability, so pay attention for a moment.
I get that. I was just wondering if you consider Final Fantasy
Hold on,
VIII.
Jova. Okay, notice how right now, while I'm attacking, I'm teleporting everywhere, and swords are falling and hitting them. That's the armor
So it's kind
ability.
of like I said.
So it's like
Slightly
Sykes.
similar. It's slightly similar to the energy source ability of Virgil in Devil May Cry 3.
Yeah,
Only this
basi-
time your swords can target automatically the enemies.
Basically, right when I'm in the armor ability, I don't have to actually get near the enemies to hit them. I'll just teleport when I press the attack button. Not automatically teleport to whatever the nearest enemy is. So, but again, in fact, you have to have full MP to activate the armor ability.
Yeah. Anyway,
Okay,
going
Teo.
back.
Makes sense.
Okay, Teo. Now you can do it
What is this
when he
place?
touches that tree.
Oh, well.
Sure.
Anyway, going back to what I was saying, I was wondering if you. Oh wait, never mind. I think he's about to do it. I'll say it after.
So is Jack and the Beanstalk?
It's a tree of life.
I have power.
Okay, going back to what I was saying,
Also-
Pedro.
By the way,
Hold on,
Joe,
hold on a bit. Hold on. Notice how his eyes are red.
yeah, it's because
Yeah.
it's because Natas has the power to, according to the interviews, Natas has the power to see dead. So apparently he has some kind of divine power. He even said in the 2014 trailer, there are some things that I just know, and I don't know how or why. Basically, he has some
dead
kind of
people.
psychic. Basically, he has some kind of psychic astral power that he doesn't fully understand. But we'll get to that when we see.
Wait, did you just say he can see dead people?
I said that.
Yes.
I was
Basically,
referencing.
Basically, he has astral powers that he doesn't fully understand. For some reason, he has a gift, and that will be a big thing in the story. But I can't really talk much about it because not much has been revealed about that. But anyway, Jova, you say that you actually find the goblins to be well done in terms of scary factor. You know, kind of like the Bioshock stuff.
Yeah, I was actually surprised. It actually kind of felt like a Bioshock game, you know, except for the fact that it wasn't in first person, of course. But yeah, it's got the dark corridors, the enemies popping out at you at just the right moment. Yeah, they actually felt like legit Bioshock tier there.
Now you've got me imagining a Final Fantasy first person game.
Oh,
Don't we
Does that
sort of-
exist?
the only one I could see happening is a dungeon crawling game.
Anywho, going back to what I was saying earlier, I guess I was wondering if you and Teo also consider like anything that's futuristic Final Fantasy VII inspired, like Final Fantasy VIII.
Not really. Final Fantasy VI, it's pretty futuristic on its own.
Oh yeah, there you go. See, all my characters' levels are from 17 to 22. So basically, grind until you're around those levels. Make sure you have the immune spell cast in the previous camp that you did.
Bashful beast.
And you should be relatively okay if you're good at the game.
Mesminiers, bashful beasts that use
Basically,
their horn to bash the unsuspecting
Basically,
bashes.
I used the return to latest camp option so I could return to latest camp instantly.
Indeed.
Or the Franciscans, person who punishes the
No,
foolish fools
no.
who fool the foolish.
Okay,
of
now
course.
we can.
With whips.
Okay, so it's time for Victory Fanfare.
Camping.
After some meal.
Some
But
camping.
first,
This
let us
reminds
take
me
a
a bit of
selfie.
like Fossil Fighters, where the idea you
Defeating
dig.
goblins in a cave. GG easy.
Basically, the way this works is depending on which ingredients you have,
Hashtag lol.
the best possible meal you can have with the ingredients you have is automatically selected for you. Since the best meal in this game is dry aged tender stew, this one actually, which is the one that gives the best status effects, prime, sharp, and immune. I'm pretty much gonna get this meal all the time because I made sure to stock up on those particular ingredients.
Yummy.
All right, so almost 10,000 XP. So let's tally up.
Wonder where they keep all this tent material.
Magic.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, it's just like where Kratos puts
Dun,
all
dun.
this stuff in the God of War games.
So yeah, basically,
It's just a gold.
Basically, the prime status greatly increases attack, defense, and XP gained. The other one increases in critical rate, and immune, of course, prevents you from getting status effects, which is why I never got poisoned in that dungeon. Anyway, see you for
In that case, let's go get us a goal. I mean, Behemoth.
See you, everybody.
See-
So yeah.